Why is it so incredibly hard to say the words, "I was wrong"? Why do we argue to the death over a trivial point, even when we secretly know we've been beaten? Why do politicians and leaders almost never admit their mistakes, instead choosing to double down on a failed decision? It's not just about pride, it's a deep, powerful, and often unconscious psychological mechanism that is running our lives, shaping our beliefs, and driving our conflicts. And in their brilliant and essential book, Mistakes Were Made, But Not By Me, social psychologists Carol Tavris and Elliot Aronson give us the master key to understanding this force. This is not a book about other people's flaws. It's a journey into the heart of our own self-deception. Today on Geeky Philosopher, we are going to meet the inner lawyer that lives inside all of our heads, the master storyteller whose only job is to prove that we are always smart, always right, and always good. The entire book is built on one of the most powerful concepts in modern psychology: cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the state of intense mental discomfort we feel when we hold two contradictory beliefs, or when our actions contradict our beliefs. It's kind of like a clash of two magnets repelling each other inside your head. For example, the belief "I am a smart, sensible person" clashes with the action "I just paid way too much money for that car." This clash creates a painful tension, and our brain is desperate to resolve it. Now, the logical, rational way to resolve it would be to change the action. You'd return the car and admit you made a mistake. But that's not what we do. Admitting we made a mistake is a direct threat to our positive self-concept, so instead of changing our behavior, we change our story. We begin to self-justify. You tell yourself, "You know what? This car has the best safety rating, and it's a classic model that will hold its value. It was actually a very smart purchase." This is the engine of self-justification. It's the unconscious process of creating new beliefs and new memories to reduce the dissonance and restore our belief that we are, in fact, smart, competent, and moral people. Segment 2. The Inner Lawyer. The authors paint a powerful picture of how our minds work. We like to think that our brain is a scientist, rationally weighing the evidence to find the objective truth. But that's not its primary function. When our self-concept is on the line, our brain doesn't act like a scientist, it acts like a lawyer. A scientist seeks the truth, a lawyer's job is to argue for their client, and the client is your ego. Your inner lawyer's only job is to defend your past actions and beliefs, no matter how foolish or wrong they might have been. It will ignore evidence that hurts its case, it will cherry-pick data that helps it, and it will twist and spin the story until you, the jury, are convinced of your own innocence. This is why the confirmation bias is so powerful. We don't seek out information to challenge ourselves, we seek it out to confirm the decisions we've already made, to soothe the discomfort of dissonance. This process of self-justification is what leads to one of the most dangerous social phenomena: polarization. The authors illustrate this with a powerful metaphor: the pyramid of choice. Imagine two people standing side by side at the very top of a pyramid. They hold almost identical views on a particular issue. Then, they are both forced to make a small, slightly different choice. Person A leans just a little bit to the left, and person B leans just a little bit to the right. At that moment, cognitive dissonance kicks in. Person A, having made a small step to the left, now needs to justify that choice. Their inner lawyer starts looking for evidence that their decision was the right one. They start to see more flaws in the right-leaning arguments. Person B does the exact same thing in the opposite direction. With each subsequent small choice, they have to justify it, which, requires them to become even more committed to their side. Over time, these two people, who started in almost the exact same place, will find themselves at the opposite, far-flung corners of the pyramid's base, unable to even comprehend how the other person could be so stupid or evil. This is the secret engine of political and social polarization. It's not that people start with extreme views, it's that the small choices we make and our deep unconscious need to justify them can lead us down a path to a place we never intended to go. Here is the most frustrating and human part of this whole process. We are brilliant at seeing self-justification and cognitive dissonance in other people. When we see a politician from the other party refuse to admit a mistake, we see it with perfect clarity. Look at them, twisting the facts, making excuses, they're so biased. But when we look at our own beliefs, we are almost completely blind. We see our own views as rational, objective, and based on a clear-eyed assessment of the facts. The authors call this the bias blind spot. It's a form of psychological hypocrisy that we all engage in. We are the brilliant detective who can solve everyone else's case, but we are completely oblivious to the clues in our own. This is why it is so easy to see the world in terms of us, the rational ones, versus them, the biased ones. This blind spot is what makes true self-awareness so incredibly difficult to achieve. So, if we are all hardwired with an inner lawyer who is constantly working to protect our ego and keep us blind to our own flaws, what can we do? Is there any hope? Yes. The solution is not to try and eliminate cognitive dissonance. The solution is to change our relationship with it. The key is to build a self-concept that is strong enough to handle the admission of error. You have to shift your core identity. You have to move your ego from "I am a person who is smart and right" to "I am a person who is strong enough to admit when I'm wrong and who is capable of learning and growing." This is incredibly hard. It requires mindfulness. The ability to notice the feeling of dissonance in your own body, that defensive, gut-clenching sensation. It requires you to consciously override your inner lawyer and to actively seek out dissenting opinions and contradictory evidence. The authors teach that true strength is not in being right, it is in having the courage to say those three most difficult words: "I made a mistake." That is the moment the self-justification machine grinds to a halt, and the door to real learning and growth finally swings open. This book is a crucial and humbling user's manual for the human mind. It is a call to become more compassionate toward others, recognizing the powerful forces that drive their self-justification. And it is a call to become more rigorous and honest with ourselves. If you are someone who values intellectual honesty, who is brave enough to confront your own biases, and who believes that the difficult work of self-awareness is the key to a wiser life, then you are a student of this work. Consider subscribing to Geeky Philosopher, where we are dedicated to exploring the ideas that help us become better thinkers. Thank you for being here.